right, from one form of football to another, we're now going to fantasy. We're going to keep Gibby with us this week because we have a special.
Breaking news.
The
return. Gibby's back.
Gibby is back. Woo! It is his first time appearing on a segment that isn't just a pick'em. Mm-hmm. He is an original Champaign Papis, so he's allowed to do this type of stuff. So, the reason why we bring Gibby on is because after me and Marco played last week, by the way, ugly week. I'm not going to brag about it, but I have to let the people know I did come through with the win. Shout out to Josh Allen, AJ Brown, and Tyler Bass on Monday night.
I was watching that game, and I was praying on Josh Allen's downfall, man.
Well, he did have a downfall, but not in fantasy. He still had his 28.7. But after playing each other, I now get Gibby. And the thing about Gibby is that this entire year, we knew we were playing each other week 7. Yep. We looked forward to it. And the thing we noticed right away is that we had a lot of guys that were going to be missing. So personally, I ended up moving my team around a lot. So now the only people I'm missing this week were my quarterback Josh Allen and Austin Eckler, which are kind of my two best players.
Yeah.
Kicker, I'm okay with moving kickers around. Defense, same thing. I got the Jets this week. That's what I landed on. I'm not proud of it. But I got the New England winning, but they got a rookie quarterback. Whatever.
Hey, they could get a few picks, a few sacks here and there, and then you got some
points. So, to everybody back home, I had no running back to replace Austin Eckler. I had Devin Singletary on the bench, and guess what? He's on the Bills. They're on a bye week. Somehow I got a trade-off. Bengals defense and Tyler Boyd for Myles Gaskin. Myles Gaskin isn't what we thought he was going to be, but he's back on my team. Yeah. He's a great plug-in-and-play guy. Plus, I think he's going to get more and more touches each week. I only want to say this because my man Gibby right here.
Oof.
My man Gibby is going through it. Gibby, do you want to read what's happening to your team, or do you want me to read it? I have a list.
Break it down to the people.
So his top 2 running back options are Najee Harris, who's on a bye week, and Chris Carson, who has a neck injury. His best wide receiver is CeeDee Lamb, who's on a bye week. His replacements would be Kenny Galladay, but he has a knee injury, or Curtis Samuel, but he has a groin injury. He has Devontae Parker right now, who can kind of come in. Problem with him is he has a shoulder and a hamstring injury, both of them.
Yep. Wow.
OBJ, Gibby, show off the jersey. That's his best wide receiver option right now, and it's not because he might not even play. Baker Mayfield's out. Naheem Hines is another option.
This is a tough week.
Naheem Hines is the only healthy player on his team right now. And right now he has Zach Ertz in at flex because he has no one else to put in there. And he has Kelsey at tight end, so that's why Ertz is in.
Kelsey.
I think Ertz gets a touchdown simply because it's his first game back, which is why it pisses me off I have to play him the week it happens.
No, I don't necessarily think so. It might, but
I just feel like football teams do that type of shit.
It could.
So, Gib, how are you feeling about it playing a team that's already strong like mine? Like, you don't get Robert this week. You don't land on an easy one, luckily. And that's been your luck. We're going to get to that, but that's been your luck.
You've been very unlucky.
It's at this point, it's just a fuck it. You know what I'm saying?
I was going to say, it's still a very winnable game. Without a starting running back or defense, I think, right now, because you have the Buffalo defense, you're projected 94, and I'm only projected 110, so you can easily make up that 11 by getting any running back and defense.
That's 16.
I don't know.
16
maybe
or 14.
Something go off that hasn't gone off. I don't know. Somebody's going to step up.
Yeah, so
I was going to say, Devontae Smith is kind of your one. Matt Stafford.
Yeah, all it takes, like for argument's sake, is for one of your top players to not produce. Like, they just get, like, fucking, instead of getting, like, 25, they get, like, 12.
Right.
And then Gibby's right there. Like, if one of his players go off. So
it's true, because I don't have
fantasy.
I have Jameis Winston, who could put up 8 points. That could be the big difference here. But the reason why we bring Gibby in here as well, not only because I'm playing him, is because he's actually our focus of the week in our fantasy league. We want to let people know out there that sometimes you're going to suck in fantasy while being great at fantasy.
Yeah, so like to explain a little bit what he means about that is you have a great team.
Great.
You're a great general manager. Like drafted amazingly. However,
Gibby on draft day was projected 4th in the league. So keep that in mind.
However, he has had some pretty bad luck. Yes. Gibby, do you want to explain a little bit?
Man, I've been playing top fantasy players ever. Every week.
Yeah, so what he's referring to, he's 1-5, sadly. He's second to last in the league. He's last in his division. A lot of people are at 3-3, so he's not that far out. And he could go on a run here pretty quick. He's playing some shitty teams. But let me break down some stats I was looking at before we got on this podcast. Stats by Joe. Speaking of Gibby being 4th in the league, he's currently the 4th highest scoring team. Wow. So Scott, who's 4-2. And James are the only 2 teams that have passed over 800. James has had 2 170-point weeks. I'm at 784. Gibby's at 774, and you're at 764. Whoa. So me and you are two very strong playoff candidates, and Gibby sits right in between us.
Yeah. And then his playoff probability
is 15% right
yes.
now. So the reason why Gibby's 1-5 is that he's had 907 points scored against him. That's the second worst in our league behind Robert, who's also had the lowest amount of points. So that's just...
Yeah, so Robert's...
That's a Detroit situation going on over there. The next highest above Gibbs, so the third highest points against in the league is Adrian at 766. That's a 141-point difference between Gibby and Robert and the rest of the league.
Yeah.
So they've had the shittiest luck. I even went further, and I looked at how many people scored 30 points or more against Gibby. Individual players.
Ooh.
Week 1, Amari Cooper, 38.9. Week 2, Derrick Henry and Tyler Lockett. Henry, 47.7. Lockett, 31.8. Week 3, no one? That's when he gets his one win. Week 4, Scary Terry and Tyreek, 30.3, 47.6. Week 5, Devontae Adams, 37.6. And last week, he had 4 players go for 25-plus points, no one over 30. And he had Derrick Henry give Buffalo 0 points, which is, he needed 7 to win on Monday night. That's all he needed to overcome it, and Derrick Henry fucked it up. That is 6 players over 30 points. I've had 3. You've had 0.
Wow, that's crazy.
You've had to deal with 0 30-pointers. I've had to deal with 3. Gibby's had to deal with 6.
Six.
Well, I mean, that is unfortunate luck for Gibby. Like, it's one of those... What do you think would be the best comparison in terms of NFL? Would it be the Cleveland Browns?
He's up there.
Oh, Kansas City Chiefs?
He's up there with the Chiefs and the Browns as those teams that are like, no, they're going to make the... Like, you still feel like they're going to make the playoffs, but then you look at the record and you're like, oh.
It's tough. Yeah,
somebody's got to miss the playoffs. That's basically the way I think about it. And it's like...
Yeah, we're in a 12-man lead. Only 6 teams make the playoffs. 6 teams make the playoffs,
and right now Gibby's in 11th. But 10th through fucking 4th above him is only 2 games ahead. So
I'm making it.
I believe in you. You're always that team who runs at the end. I feel like this is how it happens with you every year.
Yeah.
Speaking of playing our friends, we have a friend in Champaign who was supposed to be here for the podcast. He's not.
But
You're playing Carlos.
He's not.
Gibby had to do a lot of GM work and still does. You had to do a lot of GM work. Break it down for the people because I've done a lot of talking and I need a break.
So basically, Gibby's in a way worse boat than I am, but I'm in a very similar boat. I have 3 players on the injured reserve currently. George Kittle, David Montgomery, Kareem Hunt now. And I have 4 players on buys. Chase Claypool,
I was about to say
Cole Beasley, Jared Cook, and then Trevor Lawrence. So I have 7 players. 5 of those players would be starters on the team.
Yeah.
So right now I currently have a tight end who I don't even know his name. Like I couldn't even tell you what his name is.
Mo Alley Cox. He played basketball in college.
Well, I have him. I have AJ Dillon at running back 2 right now. So I got some GM work to do behind the scenes. Even though besides all that shit, I'm still close to winning. I'm only down by like 4 points. I don't remember exactly.
123 to 118.
Yeah, so like 5 points. So that is still a winnable game, just like in and of itself. So as long as I can get a tight end or running back, we'll see. Maybe, but it is gonna be a GM of the week type of week.
Yep. Now, Gibby, I just want to ask you. We've been in a lot of fantasy leagues. This one's been wild in terms of the games and the trades and all that. You're 1-5, which impacts a little bit. But what are your thoughts overall about the fantasy league? People. They've heard a lot about me and Marco talk about what we think, but what do you think? Like, what are some players that are surprisingly bad, surprisingly good, shit like that?
Like the whole league-wise?
Yeah. Just give your little insight on the league, what you've been thinking about the league.
I would say this is definitely the most active league we've ever had.
For sure.
A lot of trades, a lot of new faces. That's pretty cool. It's usually the same people, but now it's all people we know. You know, we've had previous leagues where it's like, we don't even know the other guy on the other screen.
Yeah, that's facts.
But cool. But not as much shit talking as I thought there'd be.
You know what? That's actually fairly true because I feel like in the beginning of the year, especially Adrian always leads it off by going, "Oh, my team's winning."
Yeah, facts.
There was a lot of shit talking. I feel like it started off hot and then it just.
And you know
the only shit talking was when Saul came back against Adrian.
Yeah, but honestly, that shit was fucking insane. But besides that, it's just I think it's because everybody knows, like you said, a big majority of the league is 3-3.
Yeah.
Or 4-2, or 4-2. Like only Miguel is 5-1, And then obviously you and Robert are at the bottom of the league.
That's
but
changing.
Besides that middle 9, he just fucking like. Obviously, you beat me last week.
I think the only thing that's guaranteed right now, is Robert not making playoffs.
Oh yeah, Robert. I'm sorry, Robert.
Hey, he said he's gonna get his first win though.
Hey, he's playing Adrian, so that would be a great.
That would be fun.
No, he played Adrian last week.
Wait, actually, I don't know who he's playing.
He's playing. Pero sucio. Saul. That is.
That'd be crazy.
Those are 2 lower guys in the league in terms of points per week. So
Saul though has been on a tear. I mean, his team has been producing.
He has Lamar Jackson. Speaking of fantasy, real quick, I'm just gonna get this out there. Gibby, you bailed on the league last second. We have about a minute left, so I just want to get this out there. I had my first fantasy basketball draft recently. I think I did good. I can't fucking tell. I got Giannis, so I think I win the league by default by doing that. I have Ayo Dosunmu, who was projected 0. Shout out to Ayo.
Hey,
he was projected 0 points on the season. He scored 10 in game 1.
Chicago Bulls win 7 points.
Chicago Bulls win.
Love it.
I want to say this right now. Fantasy basketball is absolute dog shit compared to fantasy football. People who sit there and actually want to play the shit, like it's fun having, because now I have to follow the NBA. Having this shit for real, no. Fuck that. Every single day. This guy's got a full lineup, and I have like 6 people in, and now he's kicking my ass by 100.
See,
I get that I'm supposed to be able to come back, because tomorrow I have a bunch of guys and he doesn't, but it's like, I don't want to play a game like that.
Fuck fantasy basketball. We're fantasy football guys.
Big fantasy football
And that's why
guys.
you guys watch us. That's the end of the segment.
Go get Rashad Bateman off your waiver wires if you haven't right now.
Betters, go bet.
Big better.
Hey, go bet.
We might have to just bring in a betting segment.